I find it hard to start this tale without casting myself as the antagonist, but perhaps that's the truth of who I've become. For 5 years, I shared my life with Daniel, a man I encountered in the most unassuming yet enchanting way. Our story began when I clumsily spilled coffee on him in a cozy bookstore. Instead of irritation, he responded with a warm laugh, and we soon found ourselves immersed in hours of effortless conversation. Daniel possessed a rare ability to truly hear you, making you feel like the sole focus of his world. For a long while, I was convinced he was my forever companion. His compassion, attentiveness, and steadfast belief in love as a force capable of conquering any challenge set him apart. That's why my choices wounded him so deeply. The damage didn't erupt overnight. It started as a subtle crack, slowly widening over time. A promotion at work brought long hours, frequent travel, and a new coworker, Ethan, who carried a dynamic, almost electric presence. Unlike Daniel's steady calm, Ethan was a storm of thrill and intensity. I told myself our bond was innocent, but casual texts soon turned into late-night calls, then secret drinks after hours. One night, after a draining meeting, Ethan kissed me. I didn't resist, I leaned into it. Later, I returned home to Daniel, who had stayed up with takeout, aware of how tough my week had been. I brushed a kiss across his forehead, pretending all was well. That was my first betrayal through silence, and it wouldn't be the last. What started as a fleeting lapse grew into months of hidden truths. I convinced myself I could compartmentalize my emotions, that what happened with Ethan didn't lessen my devotion to Daniel. That was the biggest lie I fed myself. Each time Ethan reached out, I felt a thrill I hadn't known with Daniel in years. Yet every time Daniel's gentle smile met my gaze, guilt pierced me, and I buried it deeper. The truth came undone on a night meant to be flawless. Daniel had planned a romantic getaway, a quiet cabin tucked in the mountains, free from phones and interruptions. I told Ethan I'd be out of touch for a few days. But on our first evening, Daniel's phone glowed on the nightstand. He wasn't one to snoop, but curiosity got the better of me. Glancing at it, I saw my name in a message from Ethan's number. My stomach dropped. The message was brief, not blatant, just, "I'd rather be with you than him." I braced for Daniel's fury, but it never came. Instead, he looked at me with a quiet, devastating clarity, as if his entire reality was collapsing. He didn't yell or accuse. He simply asked, "How long has this been happening?" I could have dodged, spun a tale about work stress or a misunderstanding. But his steady gaze demanded the truth. 6 months, I confessed. He nodded once, rose, and walked out of the cabin without another word. I sat frozen, staring at the door, waiting for his return. He didn't come back. The next morning, I drove home alone. Days later, a curt text arrived. "I'll have someone pick up my things." No calls, no confrontations, just an echoing void. Almost a year passed before I saw Daniel again. I held on to a fragile hope that time might heal the rift, that we could at least talk. But at a mutual friend's engagement party, he barely registered my presence. When someone jokingly asked if he was staying single, he replied, "Yeah, love's not something I put stock in anymore." His words weren't aimed at me, but they sliced deeper than any direct accusation. That's when I understood I hadn't just ended our relationship. I'd destroyed the one thing he held most dear. His faith in love's strength. I tried to apologize that night, spilling my remorse in a flood of words. He listened in silence, then said, "You're sorry because you feel guilty, not because you grasp what this costs me." Then he turned and left. He was right. My apology was selfish. I craved his forgiveness to ease my own shame, to convince myself I wasn't a monster. But forgiveness isn't something you can claim by force. Some wounds never fully heal. 3 years have gone by since that night. I've tried dating others, but nothing feels right. Each time I start to care for someone new, I see Daniel's face from that night in the cabin, his eyes mirroring a world that had fallen apart. Friends urge me to let go, saying mistakes are human, that I shouldn't bear this weight forever. But I don't want to release it. Forgetting would mean I've gained nothing from the pain I inflicted. I was the tempest that ravaged someone else's life, leaving only wreckage behind. Perhaps Daniel will find someone deserving of him, someone who can rebuild what I tore down. But if he never does, I'll carry the burden of knowing I'm the cause. Love is delicate. It takes years to cultivate trust, but one selfish choice can burn it to the ground. People say time mends all wounds, but for some, it only teaches them to live alongside their scars. The deepest agony isn't always losing the one you love. It's realizing you robbed them of their belief in love itself.